So we hired a turf cutter and deturfed the lawn, then put the wooden battening around the edges. Then we brought in 15 tonne of root zone, levelled that off and raked it around and got it level. Then we applied the seed and then we covered it with the garden fleece. This was last Tuesday, and then we applied the Jack's Magic, and then this was Friday, and join me now as I tell you about it. Right, it's Tuesday, 15th of June, just after midday. Do you know what today is? It's the first cut day. I'm so excited. Come on, let's bring it on. I've hired, well not hired, I've borrowed actually, a Bosch Rotac lithium ion battery mower, rotary mower off Peter, who is the cheese job, known as the cheese job and the bad applicator of Roundup. And he's lent me that just indefinitely whilst we're doing this, well, because he doesn't need it, and I've traded him some seed for it for his job. So we've got a good light mower which we can use on here without doing any damage when we turn, which is why I don't want to use my mower, because I've no off-run areas. It would just too much, my hater would just do too much damage. You don't want to use a cylinder at this point, because I don't think, because the front roller would just flatten the grass before the blades on the cylinder got to it. So that's why I use a rotary. But yeah, looking really good. 2 weeks since we seeded, ready for a cut. Let's do it. Right, so that's the cut done. Just going to water it now, and then later on, if time allows, I'm going to spray some more Bio Boost, just to spray the seeds that I've just come through this week that maybe weren't there last week. So join me for that later on, but so far so good, looks good. Sorry about the wonky lines, it's difficult to control that thing when you're not used to it, because it's push rather than propelled. So not to worry at this point. I've got plenty of time to improve, so I'll see you in a bit. Right, so I've just watered it and I've put some more Bio Boost on, but in with that, it's 100 square meters this lawn, so I've just gone on with a 200 mils of ICL high end, which is 2500% nitrogen with trace elements. I've gone at half rate just to give it a little bit of a boost. And that'll make it lush up a little bit, but not too much. We don't want to overdo it at this point. So I think in a couple of days with this sun on it, I'll come back later and water it in, and then if we can keep this heat up and keep the water on, not loads, just enough to keep that seed alive, this is in the next week, this is going to be a transformed lawn, because we're going to be cutting it every other day perhaps, if not every day at the moment now. And yeah, I've got good plans for this garden. In terms of how quickly it's going to come along, you'll be surprised. So this is it for this week, I think, from here, but I'll join me again next time, and hopefully it'll be looking even better. So I'm off now, so I'll see you later. Okay, so I've just come back and watered in what I put on earlier. It's already greened up a little bit since I put that on, so happy days. Filling in nicely. So just keep watering now for a couple of days, and give it a cut maybe in a couple of days, and then it'll start to thicken up, I reckon. Now it's at second and third leaf stage on some of the leaves. It can start now making its own glucose to make its own products that it needs to make within the plant, like cellulose for one, and that will strengthen the cell walls, and it can start to make starch, and what else can it do? Oils and fats for seeds, but we don't want that. But yeah, there's lots of things it can do. So this is where nature takes over now. We've done the hard work, now we can let the sun do some of it for us. So keep on doing what you're doing, and I'll keep on doing what I'm doing, and hopefully we'll get to where we need to be. So until then, it's good night from me. Okay, so it's the day after I put the Bio Boost and High N on. I've just took the opportunity now just to sprinkle a little bit of seed on some thinner areas which I don't think the seed's going to come, or it's been eaten by the birds, or it's been washed away. So just before I go on with a big feed in the not too distant future, I'll get that seed on, and then when I come on with my granular feed, the seed's already in there, and then I think it'll grow quicker than if we feed it up, wait till there's big maybe gaps appearing, and then we try and get the seed on. It's going to be difficult to get the seed in there and growing alongside the grass that is already growing. So I've done that now. Just put probably a kilogram in the areas, just a few. I mean, you can't really see from it, but if I zoom in, there's just little bits. There's grass seed there, but there's only maybe 50% of what I'd like. And you get this on these kind of lawns because we're raking it, and when we push and pull with a rake, we're pushing and pulling seed away from where it landed. But it's not like whereas if you use like a disc seed or a Vredor or whatever, like something like that, or like Austin did with that machine in his video, for the Alec video, that it's buried in the ground, so you're going to get more successful germination, whereas we're just raking and some of the seed gets left on the surface. So that's going to take a bit longer to germinate because it's not got that nice cushion around it, and it's not buried in the ground. So I'm still happy with where we are. The feed's gone on 2 feeds of bio and the high end, and the biology, and the colour's really even all over, so there's no problems with nowhere's not got any nutrition. So I think after 8 days after taking the sheets off, I don't think we can be any less pleased than this, or any more pleased. I think this is where we should be. I cut it yesterday and just took just a little bit off the top, which will help thicken it up in the not too distant future. But yeah, it's just we need some rain, just desperate, just for not for an absolute deluge, but just for some, just like a half a day of like sustained rain where it can just penetrate through. And because by the time I watered yesterday twice, yesterday afternoon and in the evening, to water the high end off the leaf and into the ground. I've given it a real good soak, and I've come today and it's bone dry at that top end, so it soon dries out. So we've just got that rain, it would just help us out a little bit. So I'm not going to say a prayer because it'll end up chucking it down all summer then. So I think there's some rain due over the weekend, which will be good. But we are getting to that point now where we could possibly leave an oscillating sprinkler on just in areas for a very short period of time. I'm not, but you're more likely to get away with that. So I'm not saying they're totally banned at this point. I'm saying if you think you can use it without it washing seed away, or your ground's pretty level, then please give it a go, but don't blame me if it does wash it away. Like now I've just put the new seed on, I wouldn't want to use an oscillating sprinkler now because that would just wash it off. Whereas if I was a bit happier with some of the patches and I didn't need to overseed, I could go on with an oscillating sprinkler because all the seed that is there is more or less up now and away, and it won't wash away. So each lawn to its own really, and each person to their own. But that's it for now. Quick update, and yeah, let's just keep going with this. And I think in 4 weeks, like we planned, 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, I said to the customer that it would be ready for some sort of like mild action, and I think we're well on target. So stay tuned, and I'll see you soon. Right, I just thought I'd give you an update from Steve's. It's Monday the 14th of June, about 7:30. So I've just finished almost deturfing next doors. I've done all Steve's, so we've got all these lovely piles here ready to go. I order this wagon to come and get them, and I'll get some root zone delivered before they take that stuff away. So they'll bring the soil, and then ergonomics wise they'll then take the stuff away with them to make it worthwhile. Other than that, it's slow going because this even next door's lawn's really hard work. It's really stodgy and sticky, but I hope to get that finished tomorrow and then back at the weekend. So that's where we're up to here, and hopefully soon we'll get some seed down and see some green grass coming through like at the other job. So until then, it's goodbye.